All right, we got more new cards to talk about here. Again, not updated yet on the Play Hearthstone website, so we're going to use a different website. So first, let's look at Ras Frostwhisper, a 5-mana 3/6 dual class card legendary between Shaman and Mage. This card is really good. At the end of your turn, deal 1 damage to all enemies, improved by spell damage. So first thing that came to mind was Scorcher, Dragonmaw Scorcher for me, which did see a lot of play, just doing that 1 damage to the entire board, not hitting any faces, was very, very useful. A lot of people were using it. Of course, it did have that dragon tag. This is tribalist, but it does have a bit of an upside compared to the Scorcher, where it does 1 damage to all enemies only. It does not hit your side of the board. It hits only their minions, but it also hits their face. So that's really good. And it's improved by spell damage. I think this would be pretty good even if it didn't have this last little bit, which is improved by spell damage. Now I do enjoy myself playing some spell damage shaman, some burn shaman, and I think this goes right in there. If your opponent leaves this uncontested, it's gonna do that damage at the end of every turn, right? So maybe you have a spell damage totem, maybe you have a mana reservoir or 2, and then you're just going to be doing 3 to your opponent's board the entire time this thing is left unanswered. So very, very good. For Mage, Mage does run a little bit of spell damage, not so much right now. Maybe we get more spell damage minions for Mage, but I still think Mage is probably going to want to run this. Not in every list. I see it a little bit more as a Shaman card, but yeah, Mage will run this a little bit. They have a lot of AoE, so I guess it's not too necessary. I guess same thing with Shaman. They have Earthquake, they have Hag of the Scheme and Lightning Storm. So it's gonna find a place somewhere. I think the card is quite good. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 stars. I think we'll see a lot of this card. I don't think we'll see it in every deck. It depends on how much spell damage you're actually running, but again, it's still pretty solid even without that spell damage boost. And it should see a fair amount of play. We got Groundskeeper here, a 4-mana 4/5 dual class rare card that is Druid and Shaman. And if you're holding a spell that costs 5 or more, you restore 5 health, and it also has Taunt. So very, very defensive here. 4-mana 4/5 is a pretty nice stat line, including that Taunt. Like that's pretty dang defensive and good. I think this should see a lot of play. If you're holding a spell that costs 5 or more, restore 5 health, pretty nice. Again, defensive because it's healing you. Your opponent pushes a little damage face. You play this, you heal yourself up a little bit because you're holding on to, I don't know, maybe Hag the Scheme, maybe Earthquake. And if you're a Druid, maybe you're holding Overflow or something. So maybe this opens up the possibility of Lucent Bark Druid. Probably not, because you silence Lucent Bark and you get wrecked. But maybe we'll see some Lucent Bark Druid. I'm definitely going to mess around with that. Is it going to be viable? Probably not. But does this card improve its viability? Absolutely so. But yeah, I think Shaman is probably going to want to run this. Druid, they're usually playing like Spell Druid, the token Druid or big Druid, and I don't know if this really belongs in those lists. But for Shaman, I do see this being used in a control Shaman. There's not really like a control Druid. So again, more of a Shaman card here, but I do think it's quite good. I'm going to give it, I feel like 4, no, we'll do 3 stars. 3 stars seems about right. All right, we got Vectus, a neutral legendary, 5-mana 4/4 with the battle cry. Summon 2 1/1 whelps. Each gains a death rattle from your minions that died this game. So you're gonna want to pay close attention to what death rattles you have in your deck. You're not gonna just shove this in every deck. Obviously, it needs to be a bit death rattle oriented, which I do like quite a bit. The stats are bad at a 4/4. But you have to realize you're summoning those whelps. Even if you only have 1 death rattle. Wait, maybe if you only have 1 card that's died, each whelp still grabs that death rattle, right? I don't know if this is unique actually. But you can kind of target which death rattles you're getting. Are you going to want to run this with loot hoarders? Maybe not, unless you're trying to cycle and get to the end of your deck, like you're some sort of Mechathune deck, but I don't think anything really does that right now. If you're playing this in something like an egg list, maybe a new egg Zoolock, because they have that card that destroys your egg and summons a 4/4 in addition to wanting to eat your eggs in the first place. Plus I even got that new egg. I think this fits right in. If you play this and it gets 2 1/1s with the death rattle, summon a 3/4 or summon 2 2/1s from that, then you're going to be pretty happy. So I do think Vectus belongs in a list like that. Maybe a death rattle rogue is going to become a bit more of an option. You know, you Anka, you get some of those big death rattles, you play this, you get some more death rattles. Maybe those death rattles are, you know, pulling their, maybe they're Cairn, they pull a 4/5. That's pretty solid, pretty good. Maybe it's a Nubisath Warbringer or whatever, and it's gonna buff your hand by +3/+3. That's very solid as well. I think this card belongs in pretty much any death rattle oriented list, and I like the flavor of it quite a bit. I'm gonna give this another 4 stars. I almost feel like this is 5 because it's perfect in a death rattle list, but in other lists it's not going to see too much action. We'll go with the 4 stars. Plus, yeah, I don't know, maybe a whiff of death rattle somehow, but then you just don't put it in that deck. Anyways, we got Sphere of Sapience here, a 1 mana 0/4 neutral weapon, neutral legendary weapon. At the start of your turn, look at the top card. You can put it at the bottom and lose 1 durability. If you don't put it at the bottom, you don't lose 1 durability, it seems. So this will happen 4 times. And this is actually an insanely good card in my opinion. You probably don't want to run it in decks that are running weapons. Maybe Warrior, it'll be okay because you Corsair cache it, giving that extra durability if you're playing like a control warrior, some sort of combo warrior. But if you're playing an aggressive warrior, you definitely do not want this. You want to be pulling your other weapons. With Rogue, if you equip this, you can't really use your dagger anymore. So maybe you're going to be doing some sort of Malygos combo Rogue where this still sees action. If you're a Druid and you use your hero power, you can't swing. Otherwise, this is going to lose an extra durability. If you're Paladin, you don't get to equip a weapon and swing. So there are drawbacks to those classes, but in something like Warlock, Priest, Mage, where you don't have a weapon in the first place, you're going to get a ton of value from this. If you're a mage and you know you're digging for that Reno or you're digging for that Flame Strike, this is going to get you there quicker, more reliably, and so I think this card is fantastic. Warlock as well, like Warlock, just digging through your deck. You're gonna be able to get rid of bombs. If a bomb is on the top of your deck, do you want to draw it or you want to put that at the bottom of your deck? So you just put it at the bottom. It gives you a lot of information if you remember what order the bottom of your deck is and you start getting to fatigue. This is going to give you a ton of info. So really, really good. Love this card. Love the flavor of it. Seems like a really fun, enjoyable mechanic. I don't think it'll be frustrating to anybody. Like, it's a great card. You're going to be like, oh no, he's got Sphere of Sapience. Do I ooze it? I don't know. Maybe I wait for another weapon or something. There's going to be a lot of oozes in this meta, right? But it's a good card. I like it. I think this is a 5-star card. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of this. Again, it doesn't fit in every deck, but it's definitely, we're going to see this in the meta. I'd be very surprised if we didn't. So yeah, 5 stars. Okay, we got 2 new cards here. Got Secret Passage and Wandmaker. 1 mana rogue spell, Secret Passage. Replace your hand with 5 cards from your deck. Swap back next turn. This is so good, man. I love this card. This is exciting. It's very, very strong. And if you think about it, it's drawing 5 cards. Now, you're probably not going to use this early on when you have a couple mana, unless you're really fishing for, you know, an out. I can't even think of a situation. Maybe you're really fishing for a sap because your opponent got a huge Edwin or something, and you got 3 mana. They just threw out a massive Eddy, and you dig for that sap because it's not already in your hand. Boom, you use this. It's gone. And you're going to be pretty happy that you fished for it with Secret Passage. Now, if you're dead drawing, you've emptied your hand. Maybe you're playing some sort of spell rogue or just an aggro rogue, probably aggro rogue, and you only got a couple cards in your hand, but you got, you know, 9 mana, 8 mana, 10 mana. Use this thing, get a bunch of cards from your deck, throw those spells out, and then at the end, this is going to switch back to your old hand. So you're drawing 5 cards, like, so good. Just try and dump them. Try and dump those cards. And if you don't dump them, it's not like those cards are thrown away forever. You're going to get them back later when you do eventually draw them. I believe this card is absolutely insane. kind of like a mini Myra's, although Myra's was bad because you'd end up fatiguing. Sometimes it just drew you, you know, 5, 6, 7 cards. And it got you that extra little inch of damage that you needed to close out a game. I think this is almost even a better version of Myra's, unless you were really playing into that fatigue plan with your Faldori Striders and stuff like that. But those aren't in the game anymore. I think Secret Passage is nuts. I think this is a 5-star card. I think it's going to be like a 2 of in most rogue decks for quite a while. There's really no downside to running this. Top decking it is great. I guess getting it early, not too good. But maybe you're fishing for that Galakron, or you're fishing for Kronks, or you're fishing for Togwaggle. Like, this is pretty dang good. I imagine, what if you have 7 mana and you use this and you have a lackey on the board, and then you throw out your Togwaggle, you get a wand in your hand, but you can't use the wand. It shuffles the wand back into the deck, right? I would assume that happens. It's going to swap your hand back with your other hand. But still, this card is nuts. I love Secret Passage. Really fun. Almost broken. It just makes Rogue a lot more consistent, I would say. All right, we got Wandmaker, a 2-mana 2/2 neutral common card with the Battlecry. Add a 1-cost spell from your class to your hand. A lot of classes have really bad 1-cost spells, but a lot of classes have incredibly good small pools of 1-cost spells, such as Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter, there are 4 now. It's I-Beam, the Silence card. They got Twin Slice, and then they now have the Duplicate, that demon card. So having a 1 in 4 of getting a Twin Slice, very, very solid. I mean, a lot of Demon Hunters right now are running Spellkin because the Spellkin gives you 2 chances at pulling Twin Slices. But again, silencing something or getting Mana Burn, really, those are both great 1-mana spells. So maybe the thing you're going to want the least off of this is that Duplicate Demon, depending on what kind of deck you're running. But Wandmaker may find its place in Demon Hunter. And Mage is another thing I'm thinking of. A Mage has a lot of great 1-mana spells. You got, you know, the Discover a Mage minion. You have the Frost Rays, Arcane Missiles, Magic Trick. Pretty good. Maybe in some sort of Cyclone Mage you might be playing some Wandmakers, but it just seems like a Demon Hunter card to me, honestly. You don't want to be running this in Paladin. You don't want those 1-mana spells, and a lot of other classes just have bad 1-mana spells, like Warrior. Warrior's not too bad, but generally I see this as a Demon Hunter card. I don't think it'll see too much action because it is a 2-mana 2/2 with a random 1 cost. So maybe I feel like this is like a 2-star card. I think it's going to see some messing around with, but I think ultimately it'll see a little bit of messing with Demon Hunter, but kind of it's not great. It's not great. I give it 2 stars. We got Lorekeeper Polkelt. 4-mana 4/5 with the Battlecry. Reorder your deck from the highest cost card to the lowest cost card. This is incredibly good because you're going to know what you're going to be drawing and how you're going to be drawing and when you're going to be drawing what. So if you look at your deck list and you see, oh, you know, I'm going to have 8 mana next turn and I really need that walking fountain for some heals or something like that, then you play Polkelt on turn 7, and then the next turn you can draw that walking fountain. Then next turn might draw that other walking fountain, and then you're gonna draw, I don't know, whatever 7 mana Earthquake. Very good, very good card. Plus the stats are just fine at a 4-mana 4/5. And even if you're playing more of like a more aggressive deck, you're going to be able to top deck those more expensive cards. So it essentially makes all your top decks great. You know, there's nothing worse feeling than you know, having an empty hand and you're just top decking 1-mana card after 1-mana card, and your opponent's just throwing out these chonkers that are, you know, 8+ mana. So getting rid of that possibility of drawing something small and guaranteeing that you draw something large is going to be quite beneficial. This seems very nutty in the right deck. And again, it kind of improves your consistency throughout games. So I do like this card. The effect is amazing. I think this is a 5-star card. Very exciting. I did all these already. Okay. All right, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, hit it with the thumbs up. I'll be doing more reviews, trying to keep up with all of these. Because people in my stream, they always ask me what I think about the cards. That way I could just refer them to these videos. So yeah, that's about it. Good luck on ladder. Stay hydrated.